Hey guys, I'm Keira and I'm a CSM student, and I was just going to share with you tonight a bit of my story and something that I've been struggling with recently. So some of you may know my parents are recently divorced. My dad moved out in October, and since then my life has just completely been flipped upside down. I've just had a ton of new responsibilities, a new lifestyle with moving back and forth, new tensions in the family. The circumstances aren't ideal. I didn't choose this, but I have to deal with it, and it's not fair. I found it very easy to sit and complain that they chose this for themselves and I have to deal with the consequences and I have to suffer. I would just sit and wish that things were different. I found it very easy to play the divorce card. Between when it all happened and before Christmas, my brother and I actually sat my mom down, and like in elementary school, the kid would, like, their parents would get divorced and they would get all these gifts, and it seemed like the coolest thing ever because they got like a new bike, they got all these toys, and so we didn't get any gifts. And so my brother and I sat my mom down and we were like, hey, this is the one good thing promised us in this situation, is that we get cool stuff, and we didn't get anything. And we both ended up getting iPhone 11s for Christmas. So not my proudest moment, but that was where I was at then. And so there's this bit of scripture that I wanted to share. It's Philippians 4. If you could flip there with me, verse 11. It says, I am not saying this because I am in need, for I have learned to be content whatever the circumstances. I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret to being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. So here, Paul, the author, he has found the secret to contentment, always. I was anything but content in my struggles. Content when times are easy, that's good, that's easy. There's nothing hard about that. If my life is fantastic, yeah, I'll be content. Contentment in bad times? Please, come on, Paul. Do you understand what I'm going through? And then in verse 13, it's a very popular verse. I'm sure many of you know it. I can do all this through him who gives me strength. That is the secret that Paul found. God is the secret to contentment. God brings contentment to our lives. So reading this, I was kind of confused, and so I Googled what is the difference between happiness and contentment, because I was not happy. And how could I be happy when my life, my world is crumbling around me? And so happiness, according to Google, is positive thoughts like joy, interest, or pride. So I am happy when I have a good day. Contentment is longer lasting, a deeper feeling of satisfaction or gratitude. So we don't have to be happy when our circumstances suck, but God will bring contentment to those circumstances. We can be satisfied. So for me, I managed to find some contentment in the midst of all my chaos. I found it primarily in my community. Right before everything happened, God brought this particular person into my life, and their family fell apart at the exact same time mine did, like within a week of each other. And so we were able to lean on each other in the midst of all of this because we understood what the other was going through more than anybody else could. And so that was really helpful for me, having somebody that understood and that could have empathy and understand. I also got a lot more involved in church. I found acceptance and love there. I I busied myself in helping others so that I wouldn't focus on my own problems. And that's just something that really worked for me because I like distracting myself in that way, and it feels like a good way to distract myself, and so I wasn't feeling guilty about it. Also, I found contentment in God. I know it sounds so cliche, but I prayed and I read my Bible. To be completely honest though, I had this mask that I wore in front of everyone around me. I pretended that I was okay and that everything was fine, and so I would admit, yeah, my parents just got divorced, yeah, it sucks, but I'm vibing, I'm chilling, like, who cares, you know? When really I wasn't okay. And so then that mask that I took, that I had with everybody else, I took to God. And so I would pray and I would pretend that I was okay with him when he of all people knew that I was not. That mask never lasted very long though, because I would hear something or I would read something and it would just break me down, and I would get angry, I would get sad, I would yell at him. I would start off my prayer all nice, and then I would just get so mad and I would yell at him. But then afterwards, there's always this sense of peace that I felt, just that would rest on my shoulders. I got it all off my chest. I would yell at God, but then I felt peace afterwards because I was real with him. And he understood. He knew that I was not okay, and all that he wants is me to be real. I found that being real with God was the best medicine to my pain. So I still get sad, I still get angry and frustrated, but that's okay because emotions are okay. We have these emotions, and I don't think that it's the best thing to suppress them, because then they explode later, and that's no good. So we don't have to be happy when circumstances are not ideal and our world is crumbling. I don't have to be happy that my parents got divorced. I don't have to be happy that I'm now second parent and I have all these new responsibilities. I don't have to be happy that we just got locked in our houses for 3-4 months. But we can be content in the midst of it. God offers us contentment, not thriving, but okay. We can be content, we can have peace. For me, peace was all that I wanted. My world was crumbling, I had no control. I felt like in the midst of a storm and there was no respite. All I wanted was peace, and that's what I found in God. So that is what God has shown me throughout my journey and this season of my life, and I'm still learning it every day. So thank you for letting me share, and I hope you all can find contentment in the midst of the chaos, and that you can just be real with God, because that's really all that he wants. So thank you, CSM. I love you, and have a good night.